What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. I hope everyone has had a wonderful Tuesday. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 fantasy football mock draft with you guys with the Catch fam. Tonight, we've got a full PPR mock draft. I'm drafting from the 12th overall spot, which I've been drafting from a lot lately, but nonetheless, format for the night: one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end spot, and two flex spots, kicker, defense, and 5 bench spots. So, I don't know. That's basically all I need to say. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football. Hop on in here. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe, because that will make me a better YouTuber. And hit the like, because that's good for YouTube streams. And most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football questions you guys have got for the night, redraft, dynasty, best ball, whatever it may be, throw it in the live chat. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. All right. I'm not going to waste any time here. Sending out the final warnings in Sleeper and on Discord. The mock is starting, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Okay. In terms of news for today, nothing crazy going on here. Get a little bit of a breather. Anthony Richardson named the starting quarterback for the Colts for week 1. You know, I think throughout the offseason we've had the kind of looming threat of Gardner Minshew potentially being the starter and Richardson maybe sitting for, a couple weeks or whatever. But I think ultimately every team, the Texans, the Panthers, and the Colts were always going to put their respective rookie quarterback out there on the field in week 1. You don't see as many teams out there really, sitting rookie quarterbacks for a year anymore, or, halfway through the season. You do see some of it, don't get me wrong, but it's not as common as it used to be. Maybe outside of like Jordan Love, who sat for like 17 years behind Aaron Rodgers, but ultimately you're seeing a lot more rookie quarterbacks go out there, be the starter week 1. And I think also Justin Herbert, sitting behind Tyrod Taylor, for example, and then seeing the effect that Justin Herbert has had for the Chargers. I don't know. I mean, it depends on each situation, but I feel like you just don't see as much of it anymore. You want to see what you're going to get out of your rookie quarterback, and they are out there week 1. So, this didn't really shock me by any means, but I do think we had a big enough concern. Gardner Minshew, filled in for Jalen Hurts last year and was a respectable starter still. So do feel like, that was a potential for a couple weeks, especially with Richardson's, developmental kind of worries as well. So nonetheless, we've got our starter for the Colts officially. Week 1 will be Anthony Richardson. So, and I think Bryce Young was also named the starter. I don't know if it was today or whenever, but nonetheless, I think all these rookie quarterbacks are going to be out there week 1. I don't think, even with Stroud kind of struggling last week, I don't think it's going to matter. I think he'll be out there. So we had that happen. Justin Ross left practice after receiving attention in the medical tent. Does not seem to be serious after looking, or that's what was reported. So looked serious, ended up being serious. So we'll see when Justin Ross is back out there if you own him in Dynasty. Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan told Albert Breer that Brock Purdy would have to melt in practice to lose the starting job, which, as someone who's been a Purdy believer, Purdy truther, and has told you guys all offseason long that Purdy would be the starter, that does make me happy. Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll says that running back Kenneth Walker will be ready for week 1. Told you guys not to panic about the groin injury. Walker will be fine to play. Let's look in that way. So let's hope it continues to be that way. The Seahawks running back room tends to be quite cursed from time to time. Outside of that, Breece Hall activated from PUP. So now we've got the PUP and Cook train plus like the other 5 running backs that the Jets have coming to town. And J.K. Dobbins also activated off PUP, which we talked about that yesterday, though. So, nonetheless, not a day full of news overall, but at the end of the day, that's what we've got. And we are one day closer to the 2023 fantasy football season, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited. Truly cannot wait. Okay. Let's see who's in the live chat. Talks, what's going on, man? Or what's going on, man? Excuse me. Richard Glass, hello, hello. Chase, what's going on? Yeah, I know, like, see, that's the, okay. Hold on. We're not having Mahomes go in the second round. Sorry to anyone who wanted Waddle. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the board here for the third round as well. But Mahomes in the third, I feel like he ends up going there, not too bad. But, yeah, so obviously, you know, we had the Catch Fam tournament starting, the redraft leagues and everything, and try to make it so, like, we do enough mocks where everyone can get some practice from their respective spots. But then again, there's 4 total leagues, so it's tough. But there'll be plenty more opportunities, Chase, for you to practice from the 1-7 for sure. All right, let's see. Taylor, what's going on? Cats, hello, hello. David, thoughts on Jonathan Taylor? You know, ultimately, I'm not overly concerned about Jonathan Taylor. I'm a little concerned, you know, with the new injury popping up, but now that he's been taken off PUP, or going to be taken off PUP, which I guess that we could have, included that in the news, but we kind of talked about this last night, right? JT's back at camp, going to come off the PUP list. So nonetheless, you know, the situation with Jonathan Taylor is, as long as he's healthy, I'm not concerned about him. You know, whether that is he is playing with the Colts, I think he'll be just fine with the Colts, or whether he gets traded, which is what he's saying that he wants. If he gets traded, I'm not worried about Jonathan Taylor. I don't really, it's kind of like, you know, when we talk about Austin Eckler beginning the offseason, and we were talking about Saquon and Josh Jacobs, it's like these running backs are going to be good wherever they go. You know, it's like Christian McCaffrey last year is like, I don't, you know, a lot of people panicking in some sense. I mean, seriously, like, there were enough people panicking when he got traded to San Francisco last year that I keep reassuring people, like, it's going to be okay. He's Christian McCaffrey, you know. Jonathan Taylor is at a level that if he gets traded, he's going to be just okay, for sure. But I think the interesting thing is when you're looking at Jonathan Taylor, like, he's gone at the 3-2 tonight. You look at Jacobs tonight, he's gone at the 2-8. We just don't really have a true timeline of, like, how long that ADP is going to stay like that. You know what I mean? Let me go and make these 2 picks. I'm going to switch it up slightly tonight and see what happens. I'm going to go back-to-back running backs here. So, yeah, like, we just don't really have a true sense of when is Josh Jacobs going to, you know, move back up to the beginning of the second, and some drafts are early or not end of the first round pick, you know? When is Jonathan Taylor going to move back up to that same range? Or maybe even earlier for either of those guys. We just don't know. And that's kind of the interesting thing. So, you know, based on their current ADP, I still think they're worth drafting. But you just kind of have this gray area. Now, I think the issue with Josh Jacobs is, you know, if he holds out, then that obviously affects fantasy season. And I think that the same thing's kind of happening with Jonathan Taylor. I don't think people are as concerned like he might get traded or he might be, you know, part of the Colts offense with a rookie quarterback. I think ultimately people are scared that they might hold out. If you don't think they're going to hold out, you should be drafting them left and right. And I've already talked about this, you know, throughout the past couple of weeks. Like, in best ball formats, you should be drafting Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor because they're coming to you at a phenomenal value. And I talked about that a lot, like with Austin Eckler earlier in the offseason. Like, why is Austin Eckler going like in the middle of the second round? Like, this contract dispute is not going to last that long. And then same with Saquon Barkley. And I did think with Barkley it was going to last longer, but I told you guys, go out and draft these guys at this ADP while you can. I haven't been as vocal with JT and Jacobs because I do think that there's a chance that, you know, some of this holdout potentially looms into the season, but I think it's more likely for Jacobs than JT. And I still think ultimately there's a pretty high chance that come week 1, both those guys are going to be there. So we'll just have to see. Okay, let's move along here. Andrea, hello. Smokey, what's up, bro? Good to see you. I've been worried, man. Yeah, just send me a DM, Smokey, and we'll get caught up. You know, for some of you guys who had invites to, you know, the different catch leagues and everything, I really wanted to make sure you guys did not lose the opportunity to play if you wanted to play. So if I've been like blowing you up, that's why. And Smokey certainly didn't want to lose you as part of the potential crew as well. All right, so let's see here. Get caught back up. GT Sport, what's going on, man? Been using your method of alternating positions during draft, running back, wide receiver, etc. I've had some really good teams. Yeah, I really like that specific style. I felt like last year, you know, I constructed a lot of rosters that way, and like I was never necessarily like blown away with my team. Like, oh my gosh, this draft was phenomenal, but I always felt like, oh, this draft was good. Right. And I mean, I used that strategy for a lot of my actual leagues last year and, you know, had pretty good sustained success, but I always felt like going into each league, like, okay, like between the waiver wire and trades, this is a pretty good team top to bottom. So I definitely ultimately still feel like that kind of bounce back method, like I call it, just going, whether you go running back or wide receiver in the first, do the opposite in the second, then do whatever you did in the first round and the third round, vice versa for the fourth round. Then just keep doing that and then letting a good value quarterback, good value tight end fall to you and drafting them when you feel like is best is just a strategy that builds good teams. Chase, what's up, man? CD and Sun got a pretty good start. Yeah, I can't really go wrong there. And I mean, it's like I do prefer CD Lamb right there as the wide receiver 1, but Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, you can't really go wrong with any of those players, you know, as that second wide receiver. And lately, I've been drafting a lot of AJ Brown, so just trying to diversify because I really don't mind any of those guys. I prefer CD Lamb, but I mean, I love Amon-Ra, love AJ Brown, love Garrett Wilson. All those dudes are going to be studs. So, all right, let's see. Who do I want to draft? I was really hoping Christian Kirk would fall because I love Christian Kirk. I'm just gonna switch it up a bit tonight. I'm going I drafted a lot of DeAndre Swift. That's not who I'm switching up, but I'm gonna switch up this strategy tonight a little bit and see what happens. If I didn't go Swift there, it probably was T-Law. Yeah, I can't believe Chase. I can't believe we have a draft on Friday. Like, we have a draft Friday and Saturday. By the way, might have a little surprise coming your guys' way Friday night for the draft, but I'm not going to say anything yet. All right, let's see. I'm going to try and get caught up. Jay Fitness, what's up, man? Albert, what's going on, bro? David, I'm screwed because my backup plans for JT was Breece Hall, and now he's not going to do nothing. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think Hall is going to be okay. You know, his upside is a little bit limited, and I do think that, unfortunately, there's probably a little bit of looming, like, doubt from the Jets here. But ultimately, he's going to be okay. He's going to have good enough games. He's a good enough running back. And when you look between Cook and Hall, like, it's just going to be interesting to kind of see what does that split ultimately look like. You know what I mean? Like, how are both of these guys ultimately going to be utilized? It's going to be interesting to see. But ultimately, I do think that we don't need to necessarily panic on Hall. And, in terms of the Jonathan Taylor situation, don't panic just yet. It's getting a little murky, but I do think that there's still time for things to work out. It's the 15th of August, but don't forget, week 1 is September 7th, Thursday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken. So we have a little bit more time than just August. Let's see. Andrea, A.J. Dillon or Gibson? That's a good question. Chat, who do you guys prefer, A.J. Dillon or Gibson? I probably, at ADP, I probably go Gibson. But now they're right next to each other in ADP, so I mean, let's think about it, right? Because Brian Robinson is still there for Washington's backfield. So it's like, Dillon and Jones, still a different split, a different backfield for sure. But ultimately, there's still 2 running backs in each backfield, right? I like Dillon a lot, and I do feel like Dillon actually is falling a little bit more in mocks than Gibson, because Gibson kind of has that offseason hype around him, like new offensive coordinator, like coming from the Chiefs, like we're going to use pass catching running backs. And then it's kind of interesting when you look at these 2 offenses, like you've got 2 quarterbacks in their first year as starters, so we don't exactly know what to expect out of Sam Howell or Jordan Love ultimately. So very similar situations, actually. I do think that Dillon falls more in terms of ADP, but I've probably drafted more of Gibson this offseason. And part of that is because I drafted a lot of A.J. Dillon last year. So, and I mean, he wasn't bad last year. He just was a bit disappointing, especially when you look at, the total draft capital you had to spend on him last year. So, all right, I'm switching it up tonight. 4 running backs through the first 8 rounds. Not something I've done in a while, but I kind of like this team. We'll see what happens. Okay, that's a good question. A.J. Dillon or Gibson? Chase asks Waller in the 5th. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Brian is drafting based off ESPN's ADP for his personal league. And he's a Giants fan, so. See, like, there goes Gibson at 8.10 tonight. And Dillon's still on the board. I mean, he's a top-rated running back. According to Sleepers, ADP is 92.5. So. All right, let me try and get caught up. Chase, John, thoughts on Mixon or Monty in Dynasty? I mean, it's got to be Monty. He's the younger back, And plus, like, ultimately, when it comes to Dynasty, I mean, let's just see. Monty's 26. And Mixon is he's 27, going into his 7th year, where Monty's going into his 5th. So, I mean, Monty is technically the younger back, less experience. So I probably would say definitely still Monty, because it feels like Monty's time with the Lions is at least solidified, even with Gibbs being, looming over him, as opposed to it feels like Mixon's probably going to play one more year with the Bengals and be in a Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott type situation next offseason. So I probably would still definitely say Monty. But ultimately, like, from a dynasty perspective, the running back position just only holds so much merit, and just in general, like, the running back position, unless you're like a top 10 running back, is just really starting to deteriorate on a yearly basis, and you just never know what's going to happen. Like, are the Lions going to draft a running back in the first round? I mean, even the Falcons going to get in Bijan, they still had Tyler Algier is going into his sophomore season and coming off of a 1,000-yard season as a rookie. So, I mean, that's just two examples of rookies affecting backfields. But now, I mean, you look at the Jets. I mean, Breece Hall coming off of a very promising rookie campaign before getting hurt. Now you got Dalvin Cook there, plus, a ton of other players there as well. So at the position. So, I mean, ultimately, just left and right backfields are being affected on a yearly basis, right? I mean, not even everyone expected Zeke to get cut, So, ultimately, when it comes to running backs in Dynasty, just don't overthink it and make sure you're not overpaying for specific players or anything like that. Got offered Monty plus a 2025 second for Mixon and Schultz. Shipped Otten for 2024 third, so lost a tight end. So who do you have now? I remember Pitts on your team, but I don't quite remember who else. And I still feel like Schultz is more valuable than a second rounder, so I probably wouldn't do it. Brian Waller is Jones' favorite target I'm willing to reach. That's fair. All right, I think we lost Caden. I've been trying to fix the draft for him, but I'm giving up. Prescott in the 9th is realistic enough. Hold on, I will hold on. I'm trying to fix the draft board for you, Taylor. This is so weird. Okay, I fixed it. I was trying to keep Caden's team realistic. I didn't know that I'd switch your pick, though. There you go. I switched Tony and Evans for you. And Dom, you should be able to draft now. Okay. There we go. All right. Where were we? Dang it. I keep hoping every night that Sky Moore is going to fall to me. Like, I knew if I went with the 4th running back and Pacheco at 8.1, I was not going to get Sky Moore. And Flowers is long gone. Like, I just can't, you just can't, like, wait on those two players. You just simply can't. All right, so kind of a weird position. Man, I knew Richard was going to take Romeo Doubs. I love Dobbs in this range. I just really do. I don't really love any other wide receiver available. There's fine options, but you know what? I am going to take Pat Freiermuth here and just get that out of the way. I'm kind of tempted to go with like Devon A. Shane right here, but I just don't need another running back. I'll just take Tua. Let's just get quarterback. I mean, I prefer Watson right there if I'm going to go quarterback, but I'll just take Tua, get it out of the way. Now I have 3 bench spots to fill, and I'm just going to fill it with wide receivers. Like, I like this running back room. I think it's fine. Redraft 4 running backs is fine. I do need help at wide receiver in a double flex format. I mean, when we're looking at things here like Tua, Stevenson, Walker, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Freiermuth, Hollywood, probably flexing Cortland Sutton. Like, I think Hollywood and Sutton are fine there. You can obviously flex Swift or Pacheco as well, but they're really here for RB depth. So I need upside at wide receiver in these late rounds. Cats, are you worried about Freiermuth at all with his usage in preseason? Split first-team snaps with Darnell. I'm not really personally too worried because, I mean, I do think we could see less of Freiermuth on the field, which is, alarming enough. But I think ultimately Freiermuth is still the receiving option here and the tight end who's going to be targeted overall. I mean, Washington, like I said after he got drafted, is going to have some plays drawn up for him. He's a big body. He will be utilized in the red zone at times, but I still think ultimately Washington is going to be a a blocking tight end where Fryermuth is going to be utilized for his receiving skill set. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm changing this pick, by the way, guys. I'm just going to put Jamison Williams there. So I don't need 2 quarterbacks on the same team. Guys, if you're enjoying these, try and stay, actually stay, because there are like a lot of people who actually want to be in these mocks right now. And I can draft 2 teams at once, but it does get a little difficult. And I doubt Tom wanted Kirk Cousins in the 10th when he already has Jalen Hurts. So, I don't know. He kind of needs a running back. We'll give him Eli Mitchell. I mean, I know Sleeper's been kind of like buggy for some of you guys. And that might be part of the issue tonight. But there are a lot of people who want to be in these mocks. And like they fill super quickly. So just try and make sure you're sticking in them. Yeah, I would say I'm not too worried about cats. I mean, about Fryermuth cats. But I can understand the concern to a degree. And also, I don't want to overreact too much to preseason usage because it could be like, the Steelers know what they have in Pat Fryermuth, right? They don't exactly know what they have in Darnell Washington. They want to get him more reps. So I feel like that could be part of it too. Like sometimes you do see that where a rookie gets utilized overall over like players who've already started in preseason games because the offensive, the coaches are trying to get them more acquainted to the offense and get them more reps. But of course, the more that they are out there with the first teamers can always be concerning for players who are already out there with the first teamers. So let's see here. Docs, using this for no reason. Congrats on being a member of the channel for 7 months. Not sure if you saw in the sleeper chat, but I'm on a flight during the draft on Friday, so I'll auto pick. I did see. Yeah. We're just going to have to do the best we can. If you guys saw my schedule and my calendar for the next 3 weeks, it would blow your mind. I mean, I have a fantasy draft starting Friday. I have a fantasy draft every Friday and Saturday and 1 or 2 Sundays. There's a Tuesday sprinkled in there. Then the night right before kickoff, I have my home league draft. So there's like no possible way for me to really change any of the dates. And I know that's not why you're saying that. But just in general, like, and I've learned it. Is that a correct English? Learned it. I've learned from the past that, especially when we're drafting and there's 4 leagues and 45 people involved or whatever the number is, not including me and Steven. I just can't make it work for everyone's schedule. Like, and as soon as I try to make it work for someone's schedule, it doesn't work for the next person's schedule. And then we're just kind of like going all over the place. And of course, I want you guys to be able to draft and like, I want you guys to, be happy and be content with, putting your best effort into your draft and drafting the best team and everything. But at the same time, it's just really difficult to make it work for everybody, unless we started doing slow drafts for redraft, which I feel like you guys don't want to do, but maybe that's something we could consider in the future. But I know that's not why you brought that up, but I did see. And even with the time, like I have a very specific schedule right now. And it's just hard for me to try and like adjust the time as well. But it will be interesting to see an auto-picked team for you. Tom, you're good, bro. I could tell that it choked up for you. I was really talking about Team 4, who's MIA. Now is Money Mac in the 12th round. But hey, there's always that wild card in your home league, right? Talks, I like having an auto-picked league every year, so it doesn't bother me. I just didn't want to mess it up if it was for a video. Oh, no. It's not going to be for a pre-recorded video or anything. I will probably be streaming that draft. Oops. Sorry, I just took everything off the screen. But it's no big deal. I mean, it is what it is. It'll be all right, man. Tommy, what's up, bro? Yeah, man. I'm excited for Saturday's draft as well. And no worries. Sorry, I sent you the invite, and then like literally like 10 seconds later, I sent out the invite to everyone. I was just like in my zone. So, um, but no worries, man. We'll get you in soon. Cats will be auto picking as well until I get off work, going all skill positions, streaming quarterback and tight end. No worries, man. Yeah, definitely just tried to, every year just kind of have to set that date and time and just kind of have to work with whatever we can. But I'm sure everyone will be all right. And just set your cues accordingly. And I do think that's a good way to do it, Cats, is just queue up wide receivers and running backs. Um, and then just kind of go like with that late round quarterback tight end strategy. And I will say, if you guys are forced to auto pick, if there's like a ridiculous auto pick that happens, or like something like sleepers just bugging out and it gives you like, I don't know, who's a player who's going way sooner than he should according to ADP. I don't know. If it gives you like I don't know, JT in the first or something. I don't know. I'll move it for you guys. You guys can also send me your cues. That's probably what I'll have you guys do. Just send me your cues, and then that way I can reference them if need be as well. Does that make sense? You don't have to do it tonight. I mean, you can do it like because things might change or your opinions might change. But if you want to send me your cues, talks, and cats, that way I have them for reference. We can do that too. Tommy, hope you're enjoying the vacation, man. Talks, I can leave the crazy picks. That's fair. So do you want it? Are you actually going to set a queue, or do you just want it to literally draft for you on auto pick? Like just a complete auto pick draft. Full auto pick. Oh, okay. Okay. JJ at 1. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to set the queue for JJ. It's just going to give you JJ anyways. Okay, I'll leave it on auto pick for you. Cats, if you want to send me your queue, you can. And Talks, if you change your mind, that's fine too. All right, if you guys want me to start taking a look at teams, let me know. We're gearing up towards the final round here. And I probably am going to run a quick mock after the stream here. I got to take a look at the schedule. What do I have that I need to get done? I still haven't done the 14-teamer. I feel so bad. I said I was going to do it tonight, then I didn't. I need to do, and then I think what I want to do for the week is I have so many 8-team requests. I'm probably just going to do an 8-teamer tonight. I got another 8-team request today too that I haven't put down. I need to do an 8-teamer from the 1.4. I might try and do 2 8-teamers tonight. But I don't know. I have some stuff I need to do right after this stream. So if you guys want to help me out filming an 8-team mock, I'll drop that shortly as well. And then I'm probably just going to stream the 14-team mock. And then I need to do a 10-team 3-wide receiver mock. And I'm probably going to stream that one as well. So those might be the next 2 streams coming up. Oh, I'm on the clock. I'm picking a kicker. Let's go with Dicker the kicker. All right. Let me get this this mock set up very quickly just so I have the link ready for you guys. I feel like the reason I'm getting so many 8-team requests is because nobody else will do them. Which, like, whatever. I don't mind doing them. All right, so I got that ready, and I need a draft from the 1.4. Okay. We'll send that out after the team reviews. Tox, have a good night, bro. Kyle, how are we feeling about trading Chase for Bijan and Olave 10-team PPR, or Chase for Hill and Devonta? Really hard to really put. I mean, Chase kind of in a tier next to JJ, but I might consider it for Bijan and Olave. And Hill and Devonta is not. Those are both pretty good trades. Is that like a Bengals fan or something? I mean, honestly, you think about it. Hill was your wide receiver 2 last year. Devonta Smith was wide receiver 9. That value probably outweighs Chase alone. Olave is fine. Like, he can fill in that wide receiver spot, and I do like Olave this year. But Bijan is what makes that trade. I mean, Kyle, which trade do you like more? I think either trade is fair as much as I like Chase. So, it depends on how you feel about either trade, but I think both are fair trades, actually. All right, J Fitness at the 110. We got Watson, Schultz, and Kincaid at tight end. I think that's fine. Watson's a good value in the 9th. Kincaid brings that upside. Schultz kind of that like stability piece at tight end. Barkley, Sanders, Akers, Javonte. So you're fine at running back. Pretty good running back value tonight. Wilson, London, Watson, Dotson. They all end in O-N. You shouldn't have drafted any other wide receivers. You should have gone for you should have drafted Van Jefferson in the 14th and no one else. Just kidding. Pretty good wide receiver room. Bateman and Mims are fine where you got them. Eagles defense, McManus. So we're starting Watson and Schultz. Hopefully that Kincaid can come in, though. Barkley and Sanders, Wilson and London, flexing Watson and Dotson. Yeah. I like that starting lineup a lot. Akers and Javonte on the bench. Those guys can obviously fill in as long as they're healthy. And Bateman and Mims, good enough on the bench. So, good-looking squad. Starting roster looks really good. Good values tonight, too. Taylor at the 1-3. You got Lamar, Action, Jackson. We got Ingram in the 9th. I like both those picks. Gibbs, Jones, Pirine, Algier, Singletary. It's fine. Hill, Smith, Lockett, Flowers, Evans, and Zay Jones. Pretty good wide receiver value tonight. Ravens defense and Jason Myers. Good picks there. So you're starting Lamar and Ingram, Gibbs and Jones, Hill and Smith, flexing Lockett, flexing Flowers, but of course you can flex Evans too, especially if Flowers kind of slow to start. But I think Flowers will be fine as a flex option as the year goes on. Pirine, Algier, Singletary, good bench options. Jones is fine on the bench. Good defense, good kicker. Yeah, good squad. All right, Chase, what do we do tonight? Herbie and Goddard, you're fine there. Najee, Connor, Charbonnet, A-Shane. I think that's okay for redraft. Kind of missing like potential. Well, I don't know. Charbs and A-Chain bring some upside. I feel like Harris and Connor will be definitely kind of stability pieces. But they're perfectly fine. I mean, I think Harris in the 4th is a good value. Connor's fine too. Diggs, Adams, Allen, Burks, Mingo, Moore, Reed. I mean, I'm glad you got some younger guys at the end of your draft. I mean, Diggs, Adams, Allen, fine when you drafted them, but you're definitely sitting on a very veteran-esque back or wide receiver room. But that's still okay. So pretty good team here. We got Herbert, Goddard, Harris, Connor, Diggs, Adams, Keenan Allen as your starters. And then that flex, I mean, Treylon Burks. probably who you're going to have, but A-Chain, Charbs, and even, you know, the rest of those wide receivers on the bench can come in too. Younghoe Koo, Saints defense, pretty solid. Tom at the 1-5. Hurts, you're fine there. I'm not the biggest in Conquo. Like, if I draft in Conquo, I want one more tight end with them. Mainly because I don't really believe in Tennessee's offense, but at least their passing offense, I should say. But if that's who you want to go with, late round tight end, that's okay. Jacobs, Hall, Cook, Mitchell, Hunt. Interesting backfield. I don't know how I feel about drafting Hall and Cook. You know, we talked about Jacobs earlier. Like, you know, as long as he is out there, like, you're fine here at running back. I still don't mind Hall. And I still feel like Cook's an okay value in the 7th. Mitchell, I like in the 10th. Hunt, we got to see where he lands. Wide receivers, we got Chase, Godwin, Addison, Thielen, Davis, and Rashee Rice. This is fine. Jets defense, Matt Gay. So we got Hurts and Conquo. Presumably Jacobs and Hall, but that's kind of the issue. Like, if Jacobs not out there week 1, you got Hall and Cook as your primary starters. That could be a bit worrisome. And Mitchell's got a very capped ceiling. He's going to get some value, but he's not going to have every week value with CMC in front of him. So you're starting Chase and Godwin. Then you're probably going to flex Addison. And that second flex, I mean, Thielen or Davis, whoever you want to go with. So my one concern would be, like, Jacob's situation backed up by the Jets backfield, which, like, is okay. Like, you know, if Hall goes down, you have Cook. If Cook goes down, you have Hall. They gain immediate value. But I would prefer that 4th running back in that situation to not be a handcuff like Mitchell. And I do like Mitchell, but not in this particular build potentially. Like, maybe I go Damian Harris there, who's still in a committee, but we're expecting to get touches. Maybe Pirine, kind of in the same boat. But also, running backs weren't great here. And I think that was your auto pick. So, that was your auto pick. That's what happened. Anyways. I just think Hall, and like maybe in the 7th, I go Akers, for example. Anyways, how do you feel about it, man? All right, let me see. Dom's at the 1-6. Fields and Njoku, you're good there. Eckler, White, Brian Robinson, Mostart, Miller. Pretty good running back value through the draft. Kind of hero RB approach. I like White as an RB2. Olave, Cooper, Samuel, JSN, Moore, Myers. I like your wide receivers tonight. So you're starting Fields and Njoku, Eckler and White, Olave and Cooper, flexing Debo, flexing JSN, Sky Moore, or Myers, or Brian Robinson. Mostart and Miller, fine on the bench. Good defense, great kicker. Good team. I like that squad a lot. Box in the Jack at the 1-7. You got Josh Allen. You're obviously good there. Komet, perfectly fine. My favorite late round tight end, probably. Henry, Cook, Dillon, McKinnon, Roschon Johnson. That's fine. I mean, basically a hero running back build with Henry. I like Cook, Dillon, and McKinnon where you got them. Roschon's fine too. Kupp, Judy, Kirk, Deontay, Elijah Moore, Van Jefferson. Yeah. Good wide receivers. Good kicker and Daniel Carlson. Good defense and the Hawks. Good squad. You're basically just rotating that RB2 behind Henry. So you do need a healthy Henry. But we're starting Allen and Komet, Kupp and Judy, Henry and Cook, flexing Kirk, flexing Deontay. Yeah, I like this team a lot. Good squad. Team of the night. I mean, I do like your team a lot, J Fitness. But I also like Dom and Box's teams a lot. Brian wants a team review. Richardson and Jones. I can live with that. Waller, you said you're fine reaching for him. You want him on your team. JT, Kamara, Monty, Warren, and Deuce Vaughn. So a couple handcuffs there at the end, but that's okay. I mean, you really need JT to be out there week 1 for sure. You know, you're going to have Monty behind him, but with Kamara missing the first 3 weeks, you know. JJ and Ridley, I like that start a lot. D-Hop, Beckham, Cooks. Not my favorite wide receiver room. I mean, it depends on what you're practicing for, right? Like, this is a double flex format. If you're practicing for a one flex format, it's not so bad. Because then you're starting Jones, Waller, JT, Monty, JJ, Ridley, D Hop, which is fine. Kamara comes back after the 3-game suspension. Beckham and Cooks are like your upside picks, but I might go for one more wide receiver over Deuce Vaughn or Jalen Warren, whoever. I mean, I know the options aren't great there, but then once again, you could argue the opposite way. You went with additional running back because Kamara is going to miss his 3 games or whatever. So, I mean, ultimately, the starting roster looks fine. And I know before you said you're drafting with ESPN rankings, so. And Septivis, what's going on? Taylor says, I would do Chase for Hill and Devonta in a heartbeat. And Thomas says, I do Chase for Bijan and Olave. Yeah, like I don't really mind either trade. And I do think that Hill and Devonta is the best trade. But I do really like Bijan, which you guys know. But I do think Chase for Hill and Devonta Smith is a good trade. And Septivis, I just said what's up, right? Hello. Godfather, what's up, bro? Good to see you guys. All right, let's roast my team. What did I do tonight? I kind of tried to switch it up tonight, draft some different players. Let's see what I did. 2 at quarterback, Freiermuth at tight end. I'm okay with that. Can always go a second quarterback behind Tua. The concussion stuff, but I'm good. Ramondre Walker. I usually don't have 2 running backs through the first 4 rounds. I want to switch that up. And then I usually don't have 3 running backs through the first 6 rounds either. So Swift in the 6th, Pacheco in the 8th. I do really like that running back room. Lamb, St. Brown, Hollywood. I should have gone A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Hollywood Brown. That would have been cool. But nonetheless, Lamb, St. Brown, Hollywood Brown, Sutton, Mooney, Shaheed, DPJ. I'm okay with this wide receiver room. I'm just used to being far more aggressive at wide receiver earlier on. Pat's defense and Dicker the kicker. So a pretty decent team here. I mean, we'd be starting Tua and Freiermuth, Stevenson and Walker, Lamb and St. Brown, flexing Hollywood, and then either flexing Swift, Sutton, or Pacheco. Whoever's left's on the bench with Mooney, Shaheed, and DPJ. I mean, I like this team. It's a little different, but I think this would be okay. Decent enough. All right, guys. Well, there is your mock for the night. And I need to film an 8-teamer. So probably what I'm going to do is there will be a point where I stop taking mock draft requests. And then like the last week of August, probably. Like I know I have some 12-team videos out, but like I will do a week where I just do nothing but 12-team mock videos. So we're still a little early in August. Maybe next week I start that where I just purely do 12-team mock drafts because I do want as many out as possible. That's the most popular format, but I do want to start to get some 10-teamers mixed in as well because those are also still pretty popular. So, the days are they're coming quick, and like I said, we have a couple days in September to still make content, but things are filling up quickly. So, but in other words, if you're not super excited about hopping into an 8-team mock, which I understand, I do have the request on my schedule here, but there are more 10 teams and 12 teams coming as well. So, all right, if you guys want to join, help me out, make a video, there's the link. We'll start shortly after the stream. I'll let you guys know on Discord and Sleeper. But there's the link in the chat. It doesn't take very long. And that's going to wrap it up for the night. So good drafting tonight. Thank you guys for drafting with me, talking some fantasy. Hopefully today's stream was helpful for you guys with the season coming up. And that's going to do it. So make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Links are down below. Join our Discord. Follow us on Instagram, all that good jazz. And thank you guys for hanging out tonight. J-Dubs, thank you for gifting a 1-month membership. Cats gets the membership. What a way to end the stream. What a guy, J-Dubs. What a guy. So yeah, we'll wrap up the stream with J-Dubs gifting a membership. Okay. Love you guys, man. Loves community. Love the catch, fan. Let's go draft a 8-team Mocky Mock. Sorry, just moved my camera. All right, everyone be safe. Love you guys, man. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the catch. And